Hi everybody, my name is Rocky Taylor and I'm here to talk to you today a little bit about high walls and high wall safety. There's several things plays factor in high walls: weather, inflow water, groundwater seepage into fractures or cracks. We're going to be going out into the pitch here in a little bit and kind of pinpoint some of these things and go over it. It takes a constant surveillance of your high walls in order to keep them maintained properly and see and identify spots that needs to be worked on, like dips or shifts in the bedding layers and formations and faults, fractures, evidence of seepage through the face of the wall. If you get a crack, we'll try to see if we can locate and identify some of those while we're out there today. As a company, you know, we train our employees to identify hazards on the high walls. That's going to be part of what this is today, to make sure that you guys can identify some of the hazards to look for. And as we go on with this, hopefully it'll bring some light to some things and open some people's eyes on things they need to be looking for. And making sure that if you do see something, to know that to tell the immediate supervisor so that they can look at it and make a plan to fix it and manage the problem. Talk to you a little bit about doing a pre-shift on the high wall and your pre-shift inspections. Whoever does the pre-shift, whether it be the supervisor or a designated person, make sure that that person is trained in doing a high wall inspection and ground control, you know, looking for berms that slumped off, missing berms, and that sort of stuff. And then also keep in mind the after blast procedure, which is to, once the blast has been shot, go to the pit and make sure that nothing has changed, and look again at the high walls for the dangerous areas that was discussed in this video, and just make sure that all roads that leading into the shot that needs to be blocked are blocked, burned off and barricaded, and just like I said on the pre-shifts, make sure that the person knows what to look for when doing the pre-shifts. Now guys, we're going to head out to the pit and we're going to do a high wall examination and identify some of the things that y'all need to look for, and we'll see you in the pit. Thank you. Well, it may be a good place for us to look at some high walls.
As you're going through the mine in a four-wheeler, who has priority?
Loaded trucks. Filling all this back in.
As you're heading down to the pit, are you looking for anything in particular as you go?
Yeah, you look for a lot of stuff. You look for berms and then all your roads. Make sure your roads is in good shape to travel, and make sure there ain't nothing changed on the roadways and stuff. You get a lot of erosion stuff from the weather on your berms, so you want to, you know, make sure to check in. What you got here, you got the loaders working in, cleaning some of the, getting some of the material, hauling it to the crusher. And if you see up on the top edge of the wall up there, you got some guys up there loading the shot. And it all looks pretty good. It's pretty good, wall's in pretty good shape. One thing, make sure you get out of your vehicle, put it in park, and chalk the tires, chalk the wheels on all mobile equipment, everything, and push the emergency brake. One other thing you want to look for, and inspecting the high wall, you know, like we talked about before, weather plays a condition in, and a lot of factors into the high wall. Anywhere you see like icicles and stuff, that's water. Some of it's surface water, and sometimes it'll drain down through the cracks, creating a hydraulic pressure, which will force rocks loose, and you got to really keep an eye on that. And then if we turn the camera over here, you see run-in water, where this is a drain, a holler coming in. This is water that runs in, and you can see what a ditch it's cut through here. So that's something you got to pay attention to also, and be very mindful around spots where there's water running into the pit, because the water will loosen up the rock and could cause a lot of material to come out at one time, unplanned material. If you look right here where this water was draining, you've got a tower of rock standing there kind of by itself over to the right-hand side. That rock standing out like that, especially with this water cutting in behind it, it'll cause the toppling effect. That whole piece could come out of there if water gets in behind it just right. So you want to be very mindful around stuff like that. And if that was an area we're working in, which it's not, we've got it burned off, so can't get no access into that area, you'd want to be very mindful around that, and probably need to get it scaled down and get it took care of. If you look up on this first bench right here, a real good to identify and look at overhang. This one rock sticking out, we'll zoom in on it so you can see it. But that, if this was a working area, which it's not, they've got this burned off right now, that would be an issue. We would have to get that off of there before we could put anybody in there working. Overhangs are real dangerous, undercut material. Any jar, weight, any kind of vibration or anything could turn that rock loose. And that's something you want to be very mindful of when you're looking at high walls. Make sure that we don't get into a situation where we've got a bad overhang of material over top of us working. And you especially wouldn't want to use this area for nothing like doing service work or anything. You know, we don't never position ourselves between equipment and the high wall anyway. We've got to move that piece of equipment out of here if we've got a situation where we're broke down. So just keep that in mind, and if you see something looks like that in a work area, make sure that we report that to the supervisor immediately so that we can make a plan and get that taken care of. Right here we're going to show you another example of water running into the pit and what it does to the wall. And you can see, Tim will zoom in on it here. That's another place that's actually got water running in it now, so we thought it'd be a good idea to show you there. And if you look around the top edge of it, you'll see that one white rock. It's laying right on the edge, and that water behind it at any minute could push that rock off, which that is an abandoned area, and we've got it burned off in that area right now. So I mean, there's no danger to any employee at this moment, but if there was ever a case we had to go in there and access that, that would be some issues we'd need to address. What we're going to look at right here is we've got some safety benches that runs along this wall. We've actually got two different benches there. And one thing to keep in mind when we're putting in safety benches is to make sure that we've got access to those safety benches, and make sure we design those safety benches ahead of time where the equipment that we're going to be using to clean that material off once it does fall, that we can get that equipment out onto the bench, because if the bench is not wide enough for the equipment, we can't clean it, and then we have to abandon that area. So you can see several spots on this bench here, which it's like I said before, this is an abandoned pit. I mean, we're not working this pit, we're just using it to kind of pinpoint some of these for examples. But if you look, you can see material that has failed on these benches, and the reason why it's failed is mainly because we're out of there not working that, and it's old works. And the erosion and the weather plays a factor in that, causes that material to slip over time. Here's another area that we're looking at just to kind of pinpoint some stuff. It's a burned off area. It's old works, an abandoned area. But if you'll see, that used to be a bench around this edge, and you can see how the weather has eroded the bench away. And if you come on around here, you can see overhangs, and you can see material piled up on this point. That's another real good example of that. Guys, this concludes the portion of the training on high walls. You know, being vigilant, looking at our high walls, each individual, whether you be a truck driver, loader operator, it's all of our responsibilities. You know, not one guy's going to see everything, so everybody keep an eye out and watch for your brother, and let's make mountain a safe place to work, like we've always done in the past. Everybody keep up the good work, and thank you for y'all's time.